When Democrats gain power through fraud, the rest that follows becomes fake too. The media bombarded our screens with fake stories about Russian collusion, hands up, don't shoot, Jussie Smollett, systemic racism, and very fine people at Charlottesville. These falsehoods are the output of professional fraudsters whose flagship product is shipping lies in bulk. After getting away with an election so fraudulent that we have it on video, a fake impeachment seems like an appropriate next step for a party of frauds. The public relations event featuring high-profile scammers using manipulated tweets as evidence to attack Trump is the perfect encore to the greatest heist of our lifetime. When deception is normalized, tech giants can routinely conceal Biden's unpopularity without disruption. The social media platforms are quick to censor downvotes and dislikes for Biden content. On Biden's campaign trail, mass manipulators scripted questions for audience members to ask him, and they were caught doing it.
I'm just going to be honest, Mr. Biden. I was told to go off this paper, but I can't. I'm just going to be honest, Mr. Biden. I was told to go off this paper, but I can't.
Not even a month into office, the phony administration requested its media allies brief them on questions that they intend to ask. In other words, White House press conferences will still be theater, but Jim Acosta will no longer have a part. Our fraud-in-chief was filmed repeating "Salute the Marines" after someone likely relayed the command to him through an earpiece.
Salute the Marines. Salute the Marines. Salute the Marines.
If you ask the fraudsters, Biden actually said "good-looking Marines" and not "salute the Marines," and we all misheard him. We're supposed to believe that Biden complimenting the looks of male Marines is more sensical than a party of manipulators secretly telling a senile puppet what to do and that notorious gaffe machine screwing it up. For me, I'll take door number 2. When everything is fake, Joe Biden is a devout Christian who supports abortion, Black Lives Matter communists, and the most radical factions of the LGBTQ lobby. It doesn't matter these movements are antithetical to Christianity because fake is the new normal. The fact that anybody could call a politician who supports the Equality Act, which effectively abolishes the First Amendment religious protections, is not a religious person at all.
We can proclaim the palmist, with the palmist who wrote these following words.
Leftists might find solace in pretending a man with no redeemable qualities is a profoundly religious person because it reassures Catholics they can be hip left-wingers without undermining their faith. Of course, that's a lie, but accepting what's fake to avoid hard truths is a significant benefit of leftism. It's that trade-off that gave birth to the abortion industry, transgenderism, and systemic racism. Our senile president is a puppet on behalf of the Democrats. Everything about the left is fake, which is what makes Joe Biden the perfect candidate. A pathological liar in his own right, who stands for nothing but power, makes a fitting mascot for the party of fraud. In our fake new world, Hunter Biden is an expert in Ukrainian and Chinese affairs, and there's nothing suspicious about him raking in millions from foreign companies. Illhan Omar did not marry her brother, and her staffers were not caught illegally harvesting ballots. Maxine never told Democrats to attack Republicans either. If the security footage from State Farm Arena on election night is a conspiracy theory, so are the videos of Illhan Omar and Maxine. Everything about the Democratic Party is fake. I've made entire videos of some of the most astounding fake hate crimes Democrats have concocted. I've made videos of them creating and manipulating data, whether it's climate data, or whether it's immigration data, or whether it's crime data from right-wing groups, and I've provided links in the description if interested. But living in unreality means Republicans almost murdered Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on January 6th, and a DC police officer was beaten to death with a fire extinguisher. When both stories turn out to be lies, it's irrelevant because they already served a purpose. Pretending to be mortified by political opponents' behavior is one of the Democrats' favorite national pastimes. When outrage is fuel, sometimes you gotta fake it to make it. Ever since January 6th, social media became platforms to rant about insurrection, sedition, treason, and domestic terrorism by nearly every blue checkmark regarding the events on Capitol Hill. Whenever a prominent Republican like Ted Cruz tweets, the replies are dominated by leftists reciting these lines right on cue, still pretending to be haunted by the event. The stench of their performance makes every mid-morning soap opera star look like Marlon Brando. In response, Republicans are eager to cite the riots by Antifa and Black Lives Matter that killed dozens of Americans and caused billions in damages, in anticipation that the hypocrisy would matter to Democrats. That kind of hypocrisy might cause rational people to stop and reflect, but it makes no difference to phonies. A child isn't concerned with hypocrisy while pretending to be a superhero, and neither are leftists. Hypocrisy is only bothersome to people interested in truth, but the left has different rules. They are immune to hypocrisy because they don't believe many of the things they espouse. Do you really think that Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, after living 70 plus years of life, had an epiphany and discovered that there are actually an infinite amount of genders and their understanding of male and female has been all wrong their whole life? No, they don't believe that, but they have no problem faking it. Democrats aren't suffering from amnesia. They didn't forget screaming Gestapo when Trump defended federal buildings from rioters. Their outrage was fake when Trump sent troops to Portland, and it's fake now about Capitol Hill. These are the people who turn the other cheek when sanctuary cities release illegal aliens after murdering teenage girls with baseball bats and machetes, and sue states who outlaw the butchering of babies after having a measurable heartbeat. Spare us all the charade about being horrified that 4 Americans died on Capitol Hill from either suicide or stroke, and a police officer killed an unarmed Trump supporter. Everyone knows it's an act, including the purveyors of it, but the howls of injustice attract other worker bees, and the retweets are more satisfying than honey. I'm not shocked that Andrew Cuomo falsified COVID-19 death counts at nursing homes. Frankly, what's shocking is that the media is covering it at all. I'm sure Andrew Cuomo is surprised to face scrutiny for lying when fraud is his party's modus operandi. We've already witnessed counties and hospitals falsely attributing deaths to COVID-19. A recent study even concluded that COVID-19 deaths may have been inflated by as much as 1,600%. If I were part of a professional fraud syndicate, like Andrew Cuomo, and was the only one required to report honestly, I'd be upset too. The good news for Andrew Cuomo is people who lie for a living have been in these situations before. He'll have to endure some bad press as punishment for getting caught, but he's not in any serious trouble. The Democrats will set up a pretend investigation by a congressional committee or a deep state-controlled department. It's got to be a separate entity to appear legitimate and unbiased, but it will be solely comprised of fellow party members. The FBI or DOJ will work fine because Democrats can corrupt institutions faster than Rumpelstiltskin can spin hay into gold. The fake investigation will rule Andrew Cuomo innocent, and Democrats will leverage the sham ruling to crack down on disinformation because this incident demonstrates the dangers of conspiracy theorists having First Amendment protections. It would be hypocritical for a fake party to punish another member for being a fraud, and that kind of hypocrisy is the only type of hypocrisy the left cannot tolerate. It worked for Hillary Clinton, James Comey, and John Brennan, and it will probably work for Andrew Cuomo too. Welcome to 2021, where everything is fake, and the Democrats are the party of fake.